Right. Uh, Understanding the computer software. Software is the set of instructions in the form of program which controls the operations of a computer. Together with the associated documentation, software is a set of electronic instructions that tells the computer how to do certain tasks. A set of instructions is often called the program. When a computer is using a particular program, it is said to be running or executing the program. So software basic definition is set of instructions that are used to say that a particular program is being executed. Two types of the softwares. One is the system software, another one is the application software. First, we discuss the system software. Programs that coordinate the operation of the computer, facilitate the efficient use of the computer's resources, and assist in the development of applications programs. System software exists primarily for the computer itself to help the computer perform specific functions. One major type of the system software is called the operating system. So every computer needs an operating system. So the type of the software, the system software, is mandatory. Without system software, your computer cannot run. It enables you to use the computer's hardware. It controls the hardware, and with the help of the system software, you utilize the computer as well as you can use the softwares that you need. The operating system is needed by the computer. The operating system tells the computer how to interact with the user and its own devices. So it is a bridge basically. Bridge, the operating system is a bridge between the user and the hardware. If there is no operating system, then you cannot instruct the hardware, the machine, zeros and ones, that what it needs to do. Common operating systems include like Windows, Macintosh, OS, OS2, Unix, Linux, and probably the starting of the the operating systems were the MS-DOS. They used to be black, non-graphical user interface. There didn't used to be any graphics into the operating system. A program that acts an intermediary between the user of a computer and the computer hardware. Operating system controls and coordinates the use of hardware among the various application programs for various users. It's also called as resource allocator, which manages and allocates the resources. Resources, basically the hardware is a resource. For example, the hard drive is a resource, memory is a resource, and so it allocates the certain resources. It's also called a control program, controls the execution of user programs and operations of input-output devices. It's called the kernel, the program that's running all the times, all else is being application program. So basically the kernel is a program of the operating system which runs all the time. For example, if the computer is on, you are not using the computer or any application or any browser or anything, but the kernel runs every time. The part of the operating system is called the kernel, which is live always. Like the heart of the of a human that keeps on running all the time, either you are awake or sleeping. Similarly, a kernel is a part of the operating system which runs all the time. Operating system types, there used to be MS-DOS, there used to be BLAC, and then graphical user interface came in. A short form for GUI is called the graphical user interface operating system containing graphics and icons, and is commonly navigated by using the computer mouse. So nowadays we are using the graphic user system, but previously there don't used to be the graphic systems. So starting from System 7.x, Windows 98, Windows 3.1, Windows CE, and nowadays like Windows XP, Windows Millennium, Windows 7, Windows 8, all these are the graphic user interfaces. Now we talk about the types of the operating systems. Then multi-user operating system. A multi-user operating system allows from multiple users to use the same computer at the same time and different times. Examples of the operating system that would fall into the category like Linux, Unix, Windows. So basically, the multi-user, they all, not at the moment, all small computers are the multi-users, but previously, when they started, then within the labs of research, there used to be only one CPU, central processing unit, located in one corner, and users used to use only terminals like the keyboard and the screen connected with one particular CPU, and it was the capability of the operating system to use particular the system by multi-users. Another approach is the multi-processing, the capability of the operating system to support and utilize more than one computer processors. Like you must have heard about nowadays, like a dual core operating system, Core 2 Duo operating system, Core i3 operating, all the processors, dual core processor, Core 2 Duo, i3, i5, these are the processors. In these processors, there are more cores, there are more processors. The i3 has a 4 cores, i5 has a 4 cores, and i7 has a 6 to 8 cores. So it is the capability of the operating system to handle the multi-processors like Unix, Linux, Windows XP, Windows 7. They can be installed on the newer processors, and like those who have these things, like let me tell you, maybe like look at this. This is the DOS command prompt. So initially these used to be the MS-DOS operating system without graphics. There didn't used to be anything other than this black screen. So this was the generation of the operating systems. And if we talk about the cores, so if you go to the properties, then device manager, and processors. So look at this. These are the cores. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 cores. So these are basically the processor cores, multiple processors. So it is the capability of the operating system which allows to utilize more than one processors. Now we come to the application software. Application software can be general purpose application software and special purpose application software. So the operating system or system software is mandatory. Without system software, you cannot run your computer. However, the application software are additional softwares which are run with the help of system software, and they have two types of categories like general purpose as well as the special purpose. So the general purpose, like a word processing term, you create the documents like or create edit, notepad, wordpad, text-based documents are all considered under the word processing, like Microsoft Word. So that's the word processing. When you talk about the spreadsheets, you organize and calculate the data into the sheets or graphs. So possibly like a Microsoft Excel is also known as a spreadsheet. The database management system organizes related data so it can be easily retrieved, like different databases like MS Access, Oracle, and these are the databases. Presentation graphics like professional look graphics, maybe the PowerPoint presentation and any other things, they come under the presentation. The communications like allowing the internet, World Wide Web, web browsers. So they are the general purpose softwares. When you talk about the special purpose softwares, it means you are dealing with, for example, any specific task. For example, managing software, accounting, entertainment, education, scientific and engineering purpose softwares. Now we come to the World Wide Web, WWW. Is an information space where documents and other resources are identified by URL, Uniform Resource Locator, interlinked by the hyperlinks, and can be accessed via the internet. So World Wide Web is an information space. They are interconnected with hyperlinks, the links that we see on the web pages, and that particular link is basically identified by the URL, which is the Uniform Resource Locator, the address bar of the browser, where you type like www.google.co.uk. So that is called basically URL, and that World Wide Web was invented by the English scientist Tim Berners-Lee, or Tim Berners, who invented the World Wide Web in 1989. Impact of World Wide Web. There are certain positive effects of internet. One is it is easier to do research. It helps you in research. Communication with family, friends, and relatives is faster using the internet. There is a great possibility to earn while working from home. It helps you working from home regarding any office work or any kind of earning. Obviously, it helps you. Faster business transactions and cheaper products. Obviously, you do business online. Nowadays, everything is purchased online, and you get a cheaper products, obviously online. Savings on travel cost. Probably previously, if you didn't have the internet, then you had to travel, for any purpose, to go somewhere and to look at the thing, to look at the that how the things look like. For example, if you wanted to buy a car from another part of the city, then you wanted to go over there and see how it looks like. But probably if you are using the internet, then you seen a price description, photographs on the internet, and you save the travel cost a lot. And in there, obviously there are different concerns and benefits. Negative, like young children and adults, even adults get addicted to games online, perhaps people, waste time on the games and, other, time consuming things. Pornography is uncontrolled, loss of human touch, real social contact loss. For example, if you are, on the social media or any computer, if you are doing day and night, the games and other stuff, then you are cut from the human, touch. Criminal elements use information to advance their malicious intents. Abandon, Abandonment of the family. Probably, you don't concentrate on your family as well. You only focusing on, the computer, internet, and, the social media, games, videos, and, the songs, whatever, you consider. So they keep you away from the family. So probably there may be many more, the negative aspects and many more positive aspects. Architecture of web applications normally is described as a user. You use from a browser, initiate an application that may run on one or more websites. And obviously the websites communicate to one another and may exchange data or start processes. So websites, it's not necessary that you are using the one website, but probably one website is getting the data from another website. For example, if you wanted to organize a travel trip, then one hub like Skyscanner or Booking.com, it can give you a data of the particular airlines, particular hotels, particular taxis in one go. The websites are accessed using obviously URL, Uniform Resource Locator, for example www.bbc.co.uk. And we come to the web application types. The type 1 is the static web application, which displays only the little text content, non-flexible, developed in HTML, CSS, jQuery, Ajax, etc. Caters animated objects and GIFs and videos. Probably you might have seen website, just there are only the pages and pages. There's just information. There is no much, the interactivity into the website. The type 2 is the dynamic web applications. They are complex on technical level. They use a database for loading data and content. For example, when you type something in the search bar, they give you a catalog or whatever, from the searching of the data. You are not given the links, directly, but search links are given to you from the database. So they operate with an administrative panel called CMS, content management system. Certain, the web server is running behind in the form of content is managed by the server accordingly. So content modification is simple and handy. So obviously the type of the web application we are discussing is the dynamic one. The dynamic, it allows you to modification of the content. Normally they are used in the PHP and ASP, and different programming languages are used at the back end. Type 3, shop online or e-commerce. They involve the electronic payments, operates with an administrative panel to add, delete, modify product information, fully responsive applications. Mobile versions is clone of web app. So online shopping types of the applications, they are called, or shop online, they are the e-commerce type. Another one is the portal web applications, access content, various sections are cataloged through a home page, includes chats, forums, emails, letters, content. So when they become a portal, and portal is accessing, the particular type of information into one, hub. So like, chats, you are getting chats from different, sources, like different people. Forum is, from different, people, and emails and latest content. So they are making as a hub of information, and different categories are, brought into one particular, into section they call a portal type of the web applications. Fifth is the animated web applications, displays content with animated effects based on mostly on the flash technology, non-suitable for web positioning purposes. So animated web applications, obviously they are not good, and they need they are heavy, and they are not suitable for web purposes. But if you need any like entertainment website, then probably the animated applications may be only good for kids, and but not good for web purposes, web positioning purposes. Web applications with CMS. Content management systems uses CMS to modify content on the website. Common CMSs are WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, commonly used for content pages, blogs, news pages, articles, media. Nowadays, the CMSs are available. You don't need to create the websites, by on your own. You only install WordPress, Joomla, Drupal. Your website is ready. You only need to write the articles, and within 2 minutes, your look of the website is ready to, live, to appear live, and its templates and the themes, they are already defined. Like the 90% of the, not 90%, but 100% the container is ready. You only need to provide your information, whatever you want, in your website. Web services. So previously we were discussing about the web, normal web. When the different web pages serve jointly, they come under the category of web services. The term web service describes the standard way of integrating web-based applications using XML, SOAP, WSDL, UDDI. They are the open standards over the Internet Protocol backbone. So XML is the extended markup language. SOAP, simple object oriented protocol. WSDL, web service description language. UDDI, universal description directory integration. So these terms, basically the web services are the advanced research topics. Probably you might have heard about the cloud computing, cluster computing, and these things. So what they do, they give an integrated web applications, and they use XML. XML is basically a language that is universally recognizable by any of the web application. For example, if you write something in the XML language, then it can be interpreted by any browser or any application with one rule. And XML is the data format used to contain the data and provide metadata around it. SOAP is used to transfer the data. WSDL is used for describing the services available in the UDDI list. What are the services available over there? A web service is a method of communication between the two electronic devices over a network. It is a software function provided at a network address over the web. In the service is always on and concept of utility computing. So basically the service gives a concept of a web service, gives you a concept of service, and a service is based on more than one web services, and it is available to you readily. For example, if you want to use a computation power, and if you want to use the storage power, like if you are looking at nowadays the Google Drive, Dropbox, and much more online storages, they work like a web, and they work like a utility computing. Whatever you use, you will be billed for. So they are basically the web services. Now next topic is role of mobile applications. Basically, let me tell you, we are covering these topics one by one. We discussed operating system, then software applications, then we discussed the web applications, their uses, web application, blah blah blah. And the last topic is the mobile applications, the role of mobile applications, the interfaces uses, mobility issues, connectivity issues, security issues, these things. So let me try to finish this one, uh, uh, as soon as possible so that we can discuss a bit more on the questioning and answers. So role of mobile applications. A mobile application software or mobile app is an application software designed to run on mobile devices such as smartphones or tablet computers or iPhone, whatever. So you must have seen the mobile apps in your smartphones. Mobile apps are often stand in contrast to the desktop applications that run on desktop computers. So the desktop applications run on desktop computers while the mobile applications run on the mobile, but not like a web browser. Yeah, you don't need to go to the web browser within a mobile, and but directly they have an icon on the mobile. The term app is short term of application software. So we discussed earlier that there are two types of the software: system software and application software. In general, for the desktop, the applications, maybe the special purpose or general purpose, but in the terminology of mobiles, the app is used for the application software, and that replaces the use of web browser within the mobiles. Role of mobile applications. Mobile apps have become an integral part of our lives, and we rely on them in more than one way. So obviously nowadays you are using lots of mobile apps. They give you better communication. There are so many apps nowadays that help you communicate with your loved ones more easily. Before, apps like WhatsApp and Skype, they were developed. Normally you used to have the computers, laptops for Skype sessions, and but obviously nowadays you use WhatsApp, IMO, the Viber, and many more applications that you use to communicate, and they give you better communications. And instead of probably you used to write emails, and then your loved ones used to open the email, but now look at the WhatsApp application. You instantly work like a mobile phone, a mobile messaging, that you normally you do. So that's the the better communication provided by the mobile app. The social media is no longer just a platform for common people to interact with family. There are a number of business based on social media. So obviously the social media is being supported with the mobile apps. You probably will have the apps of Facebook, Twitter, and other many social media icons in your phone for general purpose, business purpose. Organized life. The apps gives you an organized life. The simple fact is that the mobile phones have become one of the most central part of our lives, and that is mostly due to the apps. How? We have our contacts, we have our personal information, details about our important projects, that is all stored in our mobiles phones, and is organized in then they are in an organized manner with the help of time management apps. Our goals and to-do lists, the alarms, notifications, and all set according to our requirements to make our life easier and more efficient. So probably in the in earlier, you used alarms, big alarms, you used mobile phones, oh sorry, the cameras, recording devices, and much more, things, for the diaries and everything. But all that have been replaced with the use of mobile phones, especially in the form of apps. So everything has been managed. They have made your life easy. Issues with the interfaces. Obviously, the phones have a small screen in spite of the modern trend towards the larger screen phones. What makes mobile phones too convenient and portable is that they are small size. Due to the small size, that's a obviously little bit issue. You cannot do anything, everything on the small size, but obviously as compared to the desktop. So phone screens accommodate a lot less content. As a result, screen size is a serious limitation for mobile interface design. So screen size is a problem. So really depends that what is your use, but they are not the replacement of the desktop computers. Single window, like the when you are using your computer, probably you can use lots of windows programs at at one time, and you can see, you can put on the sides, but in the mobile only you use one application at one time. So that's also the issue. Like a touch screen is somehow good, but you cannot touch all the parts of the screen very precisely. Like if you are using the keyboard and sometimes you feel a keyboard bit less, a bit little bit smaller than you can type on the actual keyboard. That's also an issue, that touch screen is not sufficient for doing everything very much precisely and with easily. Always you have some problem using the touch screen, even if you have a bigger screen, but like your fingers are much more bigger than the screen, and as compared to the keyboards and mouses and operating the the high resolution screen programs. Connectivity issues like GPS, camera, accelerometer, voice, other phone features. So phones come with many limitations, but also with many unique features. Some of them available only to apps, others also accessible via websites. Camera, microphone, GPS are conveniently integrated into the devices and can easily be used to make input easier and get around some of the difficulties of typing. So it's not easy always to access the the camera and voices and other features, but you still have some problems accessing those GPS, and because of the limited small device, you cannot use those features very well. But there is sometimes you feel some difficulties accessing these things. Sometimes there needs to be uh, improved, but obviously because of the size of the device, you feel some issues. Security issues, building secure applications like mobile malware exploits the vulnerabilities or bugs in the coding of a mobile app. Applying security based practices to mobile app development, including the use of source code, scanning tools, blah blah blah. So obviously the apps you are using, you will not be very much aware that whether your apps, your data are secure or not. For example, you must be using nowadays the banking applications, the banking apps, for example lights, networks they provide. But it can be possible that when you use any other apps, they could steal your data, they could steal your credentials and the confidential data. That's also an issue. And making devices risk aware, that the security is deeply impacted. Underlying device security, unsecure device is one that has been modified by its owner or unauthorized app by to bypass operating system security in turning, allowing the installation of any app from any source. So obviously there is some risk involved, that when you are using the any particular app, it is not necessary that it is safe or not. Is there any risk on installing the app? It is really very risky until you know about the app, read the reviews. However, you can be cheated by any unauthorized use. preventing data theft and leakage. So obviously you are not prevented 100% from the the data. Data, it can be stolen, it can be leakage, because of these issues. Restricting high risk access and transactions, and as I already discussed, that if you are using the banking application, probably the another application could steal your passwords, and they can trace your transactions, whatever you are doing. It is really, really, at high risk. So that's all. So you can read, one line by line, but I gave you this, kind of superficial description of these things. And any questions?
Is there a book like Introduction to Computers regarding software?
Yeah, say again.
The book Introduction to Computers.
Yeah.
Is it good for this session for this software and the last session that we did?
Yeah, like basically this one is computer systems and software, and the name of the book is Introduction to Computers, and basically the Introduction Computer is this book is for every reader. So this is about, you can rename this Introduction to Computers. Basically we did an introduction to this hardware and software, and software and hardware, they are the major parts of the computer. Yeah, is that what you want to ask? That is that good book?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You can read all this stuff at least in the session 1 and session 2, and the Peter Norton book. So it's almost the same. You will get at least these sessions as well as a bit more. And for your knowledge, it is if you will give a good reading to every section of the book, you will learn a lot. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Any other question, Yusuf?
No.
How about Khalid? Right. So I think Khalid is not there. So I finish the session now, and see you next Tuesday at the same time.
All right.
Okay, okay, then see you. And if you have any questions, you can drop an email.
See you.
Thank you and bye.
Bye.